I do not care what it is you've been doing all day, right? It's about to get better because we've grind out some of the finest football minds here in the country, and it's a very, very huge pleasure to be here. My name is Babajide Guerrero. I don't know who that was, but this is me. Hi, guys. It's good to see you guys. It's good to be back on this particular sit. I promised the last time I was on this show that I would give at least one Thursday out of 4 or 5 Thursdays in a month to be here and chill with the guys at the Inside Podcast. But it's a fantastic feel. Thank you very much for being part of this. We've seen the YouTube reactions. We've seen the Twitter retweets. We've seen the Instagram engagements. And it is you to thank for all of this. Guys, it's a very beautiful day to be alive. I cannot deny that. Wait. The last time I was there was nothing in these cups.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but it's a good day. It's good to see my friend again, Olakunle Rufai. What's poppy, my bro?
Yeah, I'm good. It can't be. Wahala.
I don't pour this one away now. Now, because I don't know something always do inside. Me, I know this. I don't know something always do inside. Sorry, brother.
So yeah,
nothing they did inside this cup before.
Feels good to be back on the show.
Yeah.
I was actually about to say something about what's inside your cup.
Yeah.
But now that you spilled it, moving on. It just feels like a perfect time to come back on the pod.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot happening. There's a lot that has happened in the last few minutes before we started, right? So, yeah, looking forward to a good time.
Indeed.
Good to see you, my brother.
Indeed, always good to see you. Guys, it's Sprite, though. It's a drink. It's no alcohol that is inside. We are not doing adverts for them, but if they want to come and sponsor us, let them come, right? I'm a big fan. You cannot show what is in your own cup. We all know. It's fine.
Even if I don't show it, it's just that it's the same color. So
yes.
That's all you need to know.
Well, time and time again, we get different people, different football minds. This is what we do at home. It's always good to just keep the home clean, right? We get different football minds to come on the show, and today with us is Niyi Falana. You are not in any way related to Falana, are you?
Well, we're from the same ancestral,
Ancestral tree there. Ancestral.
From the same ancestral tree.
He's sounding like
Ancestral will kill you there.
He's sounding like Falano. I don't understand. Now you're right.
Are you making this thing up?
Yes.
No.
You know the man.
And then we're from Ekiti.
You know the biggest problem you have on this thing.
Yes.
On today, the biggest problem you have, because when you first joined the podcast and you were coming, we all thought you were a very honest person.
Yes.
You come with your buttoned up shirt and everything. We don't say you be pastor.
Yeah.
But you see, since the day when you talk, say small as this. Now we can't take you serious. You understand? Because we know saying that these guys.
Yes, quite honestly.
No.
Quite honestly.
No.
And speaking of these guys, I think Wale has been disguising, all this while. So Mrs. Ola, this is a shout out to you for chipping in some part of Wale that we did not know before now existed. And maybe one of these days we could have you in the studio and just tell us what's that routine like? What do you do to him? Because he gives off some lamba, some vibes
so I
in this
swear,
studio that we
I've known Wale for how many years?
Yeah.
Based on Lambert.
Wale has been he's been dropping some lambas that I've never heard before.
I'm like,
Now I became way they work out with.
No,
that's a good answer.
well, maybe IBK if you don't contribute, but you know say IBK Lamba is always
Guys,
you get.
I think one of the sad things for me today is the fact IBK is not here. IBK. If IBK tells me, if he tells me, Babajide Guerrero, good afternoon, I have to go and check outside and confirm if it's afternoon. No, Agba IBK. OG boss. We hail you. Speaking of aliens, good to see you again, my brother Tony Swimpy. What's popping?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been great. It's always good to be back here. It's always nice to be here.
All right, guys. So let's just get right into it. Again, we cannot thank you enough.
Yeah, before we breeze past it, right? We need to mention Swimpy is a celebrity pharmacist.
Oh yeah, true, guys. Yeah, So if you need all those
clutch.
very, very clutch kind of prescription, it's been coming clutch for the boys, in the past couple of years. Trust me. I've known Swimpy. Yeah. I have no idea what they're doing. Do you know?
No.
Yeah, so it's okay. I mean, they're like that. They know each other. But yeah, I think Swimpy is one of the fine pharmaceutical minds out there. He works quite well to earn his money, and this is his side also. And God will punish you because you'll be eating money in pharmacist, being a pharmacist, and you'll be coming here to eat more money. All right, so speaking of eating more money, our money is on the fact that you keep subscribing to our page, and we thank you very much for always being there for us. I mean, from the get-go, where the Inside Podcast opened its doors to you time and time again. We cannot thank you enough for those engagements. Speaking of thanks, guys, all right, this particular jersey, gave thanks to a number of records, including that invincible sibling. The first thing on your mind, Nee, when you saw this jersey, which player?
Thierry Henry.
Why am I seeing Dennis Bergkamp?
I
don't
mean,
know.
it was
Yeah.
Dennis Bergkamp that came to my mind.
A part of me is also seeing Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, I think that's a very iconic name.
Yeah.
It was Henry that came to my mind first because it's just. I mean, look, come on.
Yeah.
The O2
Come on,
Maybe
yeah,
like-
we
maybe
know.
like-
has to be Thierry
Maybe
Henry.
like-
It represented everything that these jerseys stood for.
But
So,
guys, have you ever thought of it, Kunle? Is this O2 at the time? Is it just for water or that arena that Davido?
No, I
Bele
think
no
like,
call, like-
let's not go
By
there.
the way,
Let's not go
by the
there.
way, I told Dapo and Jimmy,
Yeah,
you know
of
them
course.
that maybe it's that time the O2 Arena renames the arena to Nigeria Arena.
Yeah, because we
No,
keep
but,
doing
but I don't
things
think
there,
this
right?
right?
O2 is synonymous to the O2 Arena. It's actually
just to be sure.
synonymous to a mobile,
it's the-
mobile
yeah, the
company.
mobile
company
Yeah,
that was
it's a
sponsored.
mobile
All
company.
right, on to the next one. Well, at least you can do that one right. Change it. Okay. Yeah.
Steven
Steven
Gerrard.
Do you know the
Jimmy
name coming?
Carragher.
Nice. What name comes to mind?
what's this guy's name? The Spaniard.
Xabi Alonso.
Garcia.
Louis
Luis
Garcia.
Garcia.
And
There's one name in my head.
the interesting thing.
Harry Kewell.
Harry
Harry
Kewell.
Kewell.
I don't know why. That's just what
Personally,
came to my
right?
head.
The reason I had to mention Garcia, obviously, when you see this,
Yeah.
Gerrard is
Yeah.
jump,
Yeah.
they jump at
Natural.
you. But I remember vividly growing up, I just had this special love for Garcia. It was just this thing about. He wasn't your ordinary player that just would get things going the way they should. He was a special guy.
Indeed.
He would score the special goals,
Indeed.
the spectacular goals.
Indeed.
He would do things, the things that you can just do normally, straightforward. He would go and use the back door
Yeah.
and would still get it done.
Yeah.
I just
like it.
love the guy.
Yeah.
But there was a Xabi Alonso too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Xabi
Absolutely.
Alonso was brilliant.
It's just testament to go to show how partnership of some clubs have been over the years and the memories,
Yeah.
that feeling that it brings. Remember Carlsberg back in
Carlsberg.
the day.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
also the Norwegian, the left back guy,
John and Reese.
John and Reese.
John
That guy,
and
that guy
Reese.
short.
Yeah,
Come
John
on.
and
He
Reese.
should be added to 1,000 Ways to Die.
I swear.
And then just shoot me because it's the same thing.
Alan Smith blocked one of his shots in maybe the
You
FA
go
Cup or
collect.
the League Cup, and it was stretched out in that particular
Yes.
game. He actually
What
needed
comes to
oxygen.
mind here? Who comes to your mind?
I think
Luis Garcia. All right,
Sammy
guys.
Hupia as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Sammy Hupia.
Liverpool had a great
Legendary
players,
names.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Legendary as well has been the turn of events since this ongoing. I refuse to say the word war, but it's really, really sad what's going on in Russia. Our thoughts are with them. Our Inside Podcast is against everything that is warlike, regardless. Yes, 1955 was when European football opened its doors to us. UEFA Champions League, it got renamed, it got evolved. Things have been evolving back and forth. And speaking of evolving, guys, we are hearing that come 2024-2025 season, there will be a shift in Champions League. They will have more players, more teams, I beg your pardon. And then it will look to be what we see in the Copa America, where you have a single format. Instead of having Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, you have a single format. More teams will be added. And at the end of the day, the first 8 teams will go on to be the round of 16s. Then from 9th to 24th, we'll play another playoff. Guys, what do you think, Lakunle? Is this making sense now?
First thought, right? You're always, you're used to something. It feels like if it changes, it's not going to be good. Now maybe it represent what they're saying now is like it's Champions League,
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
Because now all the teams are arranged, and then you play.
Everybody
each other,
plays each other.
and then points.
Yeah.
In terms of the competition, it feels like it makes sense because now everybody plays each other, and it's about because with the current formats, we've had conversations where sometimes a particular big team can get favorable draws, and they play smaller teams.
It removes it
and
now.
it feels like it's easier,
Okay.
right? So with this now, you play everybody.
Okay.
So in terms of the competition, with what we have with the leagues around the world now, because you can't fault the format of the leagues now. And if you can't fault the format of the leagues now, it's difficult to fault that format because competitively, it makes sense.
Yeah,
In
it
terms
does.
of the football, it makes sense. For me, the only downside would be, is there any problem with what we have now?
No.
just to add to this problem, let me come to you, Swimpy. During lockdown and after lockdown, we're hearing something about some Super League.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this when you engage footballers to play more games, when you engage the club side to play more games, because 4 more teams will be added, there will be more games. It's stretched.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From the round of 16, everything gets better, right? But the way it is it another case against the Super League? Because when you don't have time to play any other more games, when your players are jaded, how then are you thinking of a more Super League? Because now you get more teams, more players aboard.
As much as it seems as if it's a competitive structure
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
you get
like
to,
Kule
the bigger teams still get to play the smaller teams and all of that, I feel is overstretched because you still have people like English clubs who play a whole lot of competitions already. And then you'd want to add more of this structure in terms of Champions League, so they're playing more games. Obviously, if you're playing in a league format that way, you'd play more games. So in a calendar year where they're already playing more than enough and they already complain that there's too much games, where are they going to shove it in?
Yeah.
You're going to be stretching these players. You're going to, also the clubs as well, their resources and all of that. Then when you come to the smaller sides, are they going to have as much resources to also be able to participate in all of these competitions as well? Because they'll be playing in the league, they'll be playing League Cups and the FA Cup as well.
Indeed. Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA, has come out to say, hey, 2024, things will change. And football has a way of surviving, right? All of this,
definitely.
we didn't think of VAR is here and all of this stuff. We have a lot of things to chew on, so let's just get right into it. We're still sticking with Champions League. A la Madrid, baby.
Yeah.
A la Madrid, baby. Guys, let me come to Falano.
Like he said.
Like he said on this. PSG Real Madrid. I didn't think there would be a day in my career as a sport journalist where I'll come to think of this, but let me show this to you, Femi. Is Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, are they finished?
Well, based on what we've seen this year, and of course from what we saw last season, coming into this season, yeah, maybe. I don't think I've ever seen Cristiano Ronaldo go 10 games just scoring in just a game. That's by his own standard, that's very, very poor. And I could look at Lionel Messi. By February, March, we're already looking at 25 goals, in the season for Lionel Messi, even just in the league, not to talk about competition. But we can see what they've done this season. They call the French league the Farmers League, but even in the Farmers League, Lionel Messi cannot even farm. He does not have the tools to farm in the Farmers League. And
Shots fired.
My God.
I think
Shots fired.
And I think we the football fan need to understand. I think most people already understood that Lionel Messi and Ronaldo are no longer what
at the peak of
they
their
were.
powers.
But, and
you know why I don't want us to dwell so much on this, because it's a conversation that would really keep sparing. But let's just keep it in that context of Champions League.
And
Right,
Haaland
and
and Kylian Mbappe, both guys, they've been knocking. And I think it's that time that we'll move our attention away from Ronaldo and Messi and focus on the young guys, playing right now.
We will talk about Kylian Mbappe because there was a conversation last time on the show about generational talent.
Yeah.
I think it comes in that conversation. We'll talk about it. But let's focus on this man. How good is he, right? He's playing in Ronaldo and Messi era. In a time where a lot of people just come and be bleep on the radar.
Yeah.
He's been like a constant fit. Karim Benzema, Lakunle. Talk about that boy.
It's... I'm trying my best to make sure I do justice.
Yeah.
Because the guy has been at Real Madrid for 13 years.
Yeah.
2009 from Olympique Lyon. And he's been nothing short of amazing. When you think about the fact that you have to play... See, as a football player, playing in the Messi, Ronaldo era, it has to be devastating.
Definitely.
Because whatever you do, it really doesn't matter. But... And what happened last night wasn't the first time. Benzema has done this time and time again. And we need to go back to when Ronaldo was at Real Madrid. Because Ronaldo was scoring all the goals. And it's easy to say Ronaldo was a superstar.
True.
But it takes a lot of self-realization, self-belief, and confidence to say Ronaldo is a superstar, I don't have a problem.
I want to be me.
I know how good I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys don't sing my name, it doesn't take anything away from how good I am.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's the biggest accomplishment for Karim Benzema. because he's played at a club that can swallow anyone.
Definitely.
To add to that, he's played at a time when Ronaldo and Messi has played. And he hasn't shifted. No doubt about how good he is.
True.
And what he can bring to the table. All that needed to happen was for the world to turn into him.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now.
Indeed.
Maybe Ronaldo needed to leave, but the guy has been nothing short of amazing.
Indeed.
Absolutely amazing. I also have to quickly mention the fact he said it when there was that comparison with himself and Olivier Giroud. I have a lot of respect for Olivier Giroud, but there was something he said that I thought was disrespectful but was true. He said, you can't compare Giroud to himself. There was an analogy that he used, but these days
A go-kart to a Ferrari.
these days people have a bad game, they score a goal, they become the man of the match. Ronaldo is Benzema is what you call a total footballer. Never mind a striker. He's a total football player.
Yeah,
and you can never go wrong when you've got someone like that in your
Indeed,
team.
it's a bit the game. Well, congratulations to Karim Benzema. Is Modric in that conversation now as one of the greatest of all time in his position? Is he in that Xavi Iniesta conversation?
I think he should, or I think he is. I mean, because that man is nothing short of amazing. Like last night, he was brilliant. He was exceptional. I mean, that run he took on the ball from his own yard up until getting to
It's
PSG
36.
and delivering that pass and then making the final pass as well. Is cutthroat. Is what you call a cult hero for a club. And I mean, Modric has done this time and time again. This is not the first time he has come up clutch. He has always been phenomenal. Even when he won the world best.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has always been phenomenal. You can always tell that this guy is an amazing midfielder.
Indeed.
He's fantastic. And I think when you're going to call the top 10 midfielders in the world, you're going to include Luka Modric in that
It's 36,
in that conversation.
and it makes it very, very interesting to see really the kind of quality he's still got, in his veins.
At
going
36.
through. At 36, it's a lot. Where does this leave Carlo Ancelotti? does this make him? Do you guys think is in that set àwọn Sir Alex Ferguson? Set àwọn.
I'm
all
going to
of
say
those
something
set
on this.
àwọn-
I'm going to say something on this podcast that probably a lot of people will come, for me for. But
They always do that. That's
yeah,
why we are here.
You can obviously,
Right.
I love everybody that listens to the show, but I don't really care. So there's obviously when you talk about is Ancelotti there? Is he with the best? Consciously or subconsciously, it's like you are pitching him against Sir Alex Ferguson as maybe the greatest manager of all time. My thing is Sir Alex Ferguson really the greatest manager of all time?
How do you know I was going to go here? Really, in all honesty, I was actually going to go here.
Because
That's what we have been made in a way to be painted to
Because
believe, right?
Carlo Ancelotti has won the Champions League 3 times, right?
Yes.
One of maybe just 2 managers to have done that. He's gone everywhere and he's won. Sir Alex, in fact, for me, I can make an argument for Carlo Ancelotti being the greatest of all time. Because, well, at the end of the day, you have to compare what they've done in terms of, the European titles. He's won it 3 times. Sir Alex only won it twice. Carlo Ancelotti was at Chelsea for what? Just 2 years, right? And he won the league. He won the Premier League once. So Sir Alex was at Man United for like 23, 24, 25 years. And he won just 2 Champions League titles.
I think it was there for like over 90 years.
You get? And look, I'm not saying...
I get it.
Sir
In all
Alex
honesty.
is a... See, as big as he can be, one of the
Yeah.
greatest ever. But
Is it actually the greatest?
Yeah, we'll be conditioned
Yeah.
to when you say the greatest manager ever,
Yeah.
we go to Sir Alex
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
But is he really the greatest ever?
We would have this conversation time and time again. In all honesty, Kunle, I think we should ask our people, right?
Yeah.
So viewers, listeners, please, by all means, what do you think? Is Sir Alex really the greatest of all time? It's your thought now.
But I think it has to do
We'll
with
take
him
it.
being trophy laden. Now, when
No, carry this conversation. Enter Sir Alex and Trophy Laden. If I more focus. Moving on now before you enter your Laden, Mr. Laden.
Osama.
All right. Yeah. So still sticking with Champions League. PSG.
Yeah.
How do you
gotta go
solve?
there.
Yeah, we gotta go there. You just can't. You can't say Real Madrid and not say
I
PSG.
think I
How
don't
do you
know.
solve a problem like this, Swimpy? You got Poch. He has really not won anything, but you have a feeling that he's got potentials. Then you got those kind of players. You've got the best right back in the game. You've got a player who has won everything. You've got greatest player, 7-time world champion. You've got all of those, and you still fall short. Is there a mental block for PSG? Is there a lead on that? Is there a ceiling where you can cap them and say this is where they can get, regardless of who is being in charge? Because guess what? Tuchel was in charge. With this
They fired
almost
Tuchel for him.
Yeah.
They fired Tuchel, and then they've got some players that were in the same category. They had an Ibrahimovic at the time.
Yes, they had.
They had an Icardi at the time.
They had Cavani.
They had Cavani at the time.
Yes.
These
They had
players are
a
not
David Beckham
These players are
at
not
some point.
pushovers.
Sure.
What is the problem, Swimpy? I mean, a pharmacy, so you can use
No, we're not using that analogy. No, we're not using that analogy. We're keeping it football. To be honest, I don't know what exactly, or I can't really pinpoint what exactly PSG's problem is, but I think it just has to do with that cohesion. They don't have that cohesiveness yet. Like, you could tell, like Chelsea, when Chelsea was bought by Roman Abramovich, you could see that how will I put it, that growth, how they that progression, how they went from strength to strength, and you could tell, and you could see that cohesiveness in the players, and then there was leadership as well in the club as well, and you could tell that these guys were finally going to be winners, even after they lost that 208 finals. You could tell that it was coming. It was coming. I mean, they made like 4 or 6 semifinals before finally winning, and you could tell. But the PSG side has done pretty much go out in the round of 16, go out in the quarterfinals a couple of times, semi-final just once, one final, now round of 16 again. If I'm beaten by Man United that wasn't that good, you could tell that they just lack that, I think they just lack that cohesiveness, something to join them together, something to really clip them together as a team.
Nice.
Because if you notice, even in the game last night, they lost that touch. Everybody wanted to just become individual. You could tell this one was still, nobody was coming back to defend as well. That's the top 3 guys, Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. You could tell, and I think they don't have that gelling factor.
Do they? Is that team not balanced?
I was coming to that. You know, I don't think the PSG.
Why are you telling me I'm coming to that? Then I'm already there. Say it.
The PSG team. I don't think they've never been balanced, and I don't think that they will be balanced
Like they're
until
like this. They have so much
until
attack.
maybe gather until maybe they get the act right. You know, when you made mention of Cavani, Lavezzi, and Ibrahimovic, they actually played together at Paris Saint-Germain, and Zlatan will not defend for you. Lavezzi will not come back to defend for you. Cavani will not come back to defend for you. And when you look at the midfielders also, I think then others, like when they were playing with Zlatan, I think Thiago Motta was their DM then, and not the best of tacklers when you're talking about Thiago Motta. And so I think ever since then, they've actually not been balanced in the team. And then again, it depends on the manager. I think if they can get their hands on someone like Klopp and or Pep Guardiola, managers that know that every other player in the team is as important as this player. You are an attacker, but your first job
You're working for the team.
You're working for the team. Yeah, you see Manchester City, Bernardo Silva, you see him in front of the 18-yard box.
You
see him in the front. Kevin De Bruyne, the same thing. Phil Foden, the same thing. Everyone is chasing the ball. Someone is not just waiting up front that, okay, stop the ball, then get it to me. I will do wonders with it. Yeah, you might do wonders with the ball, but when you play against a team that are very, very tactical and very, very compact, they will pick you out, and that is what the big teams have been doing against Paris Saint-Germain. Even though they allow only scam Manchester United by losing at Parc des Princes and only got the job. You could see that was much Manchester United did. Yeah, let's cut out the supply to the individual players, up front. Let's stop the passing of ball to them. And once we can do that, then when we have chances, we convert the chances, and that's what has been happening to PSG for 5, 6, 7, 8 years right now.
We may entirely need a new day, to talk about some of these issues, to dissect them, but I'm just trying to control that time and of course get you right in on it. This is still Outside Podcast. Remember that we need you to please remember to share, like, post, retweet, talk about it. I mean, these are very, very big time issues we are raising here on this table. Speaking of raising, you mentioned something about a player that can do wonders, and let's just finally touch on this PSG Real Madrid game. Wonder Kid is a generation talent, correct? Kylian Mbappe. What can a player do, Kunle? Let me come to you with that. What are those attributes that a player have? Is it the numbers? Is it the pattern? Is it the style of play? what differentiates or makes a player stand out to be called a generational talent?
I think
Because it's a phrase that is thrown everywhere.
Of course,
if anybody just crosses the ball like this, generational
yes.
talent.
Now I was in the comment section of one of the posts on our IG, and I was seeing generational talent flying everywhere. This person generational. I'm like, what's going on? It's almost like COVID, but it's like for me, Mbappe that we're talking about defies,
Everything generational talent.
and like he goes into a game, doesn't care what the plan of his team is strategically,
Or the
doesn't care
opponents.
what the strategic, plan of the opposition is. I am Kylian Mbappe. And when you think of that, you think of Ronaldo de Lima. Ronaldo de Lima won the world best at 1920. That's a generational talent. Doesn't matter who is playing against, the manager, the opposition, individual players, the strategic plan, how they plan to keep him quiet. It does not matter. My talent is going to shine through so long as my team does the basic. So for me, it's like if I want to pick out generational talents these days, for me, I don't see a lot of them in terms of the names that are flying around.
Definitely.
Kylian Mbappe, obviously top of that list, is still young, and everything that he has done. Because when you think about it, oftentimes when young players come onto the scene, they are good, they've got the talent, but they are not there yet. They are not,
The finished article.
they are not the finished, products
Products,
where
yeah.
you can throw them in, week out. You need to manage them.
But not
You
this
need to-
boy.
exactly. But not Kylian Mbappe. He comes onto the scene, doesn't matter how big it is, and he gives you that performance. So for me, that's a generational talent. I see a couple of performers or a couple of talents that people call generational talent, and I'm thinking where he is now. Case in point, Phil Foden. I spoke about it in the comment section as well. I think he's a fantastic talent. But at the time he came into the Man City team, I said it wasn't as a matter of need. I felt like to some extent, Pep Guardiola needed a pat on the back from the English press. And he brought, even up until now, if things don't go right at Man City, Phil Foden is not the first person they look to. That's why when that conversation started in the comment section, I felt like Bukayo Saka should win it for me because there's a lot of responsibility on his shoulder
Yes,
at
on
a
him.
young age.
Right.
No, I'm just going to throw out some names, right? So we're not going to have an analysis on them. You're just going to say yes or no. I'll just come to yes or no. Bukayo Saka, generational talent, yes or no? No analysis, yes or no?
Yes.
Generational talent, do you agree?
Yes.
Jury is still out for me. I can't make it easy. I think jury is still out.
No, I don't agree. Trent Alexander-Arnold, generational talent?
Definitely.
You agree?
Definitely.
What do you
I have
think?
a bit of a reservation or should I call it conflict or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he can pass
For
that.
a club that has, you support Manchester United, right?
Nope.
No,
No,
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
He's a Chelsea fan.
Okay.
Ashraf Hakimi, generational
Achraf
talent?
Hakimi. No, not yet.
I'm
Not yet.
conflicted as well, but I think he can pass.
Pedri.
Oh, definitely.
I'll hold my
Definitely
hands
has
up.
it.
I haven't seen enough of
Definitely.
Pedri.
Definitely.
I think
I don't
he is.
watch his game.
But he
Pedri
can
is
pass.
not,
He
so-
can pass for it.
Pedri.
Yes.
Gavi.
Pedri.
No,
Nah.
I can't tell for
Nah.
Gavi. Not
Nah.
yet.
Why you dey ease? Okay, Wole Ola, generational talent. Yeah, that's it. I mean, the conversation will keep going on, about generational talent. Yes, talk to me, brother.
Actually, before we leave the Champions League conversation, I was going to say the results yesterday actually can open up some other, type of conversations in the sense that no one saw Madrid winning.
True.
We talked about some other offshoots. Benzema,
Maybe winning, but not
Ancelotti-
going through.
Not going through.
Yeah.
Ancelotti, Benzema, we talked about all that.
Yeah.
But there's a very clear conversation that result can also bring about.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of being an idealist in a results-based game,
Yeah, true.
right? Because at the end of the day,
almost
it was the
that.
results that took the day.
Definitely.
I saw on Twitter people talking about PSG dominated the game for 100 and something minutes, first leg, second leg, and people are going to come and say, but at the end of the day, it's down
It's
to
the
the results.
result.
So, what exactly, in my opinion, I feel like I've always thought about there's results-based analysis, right? And then there's, analyzing the entire game. Results-based analysis can come and say they won, they got the job done, they were the best team. It doesn't happen all the time. I think if the manager goes into the game and his plan is to play a subdued game and allow the opposition to get the possession and sucker
That's
punch
a
them,
plan.
that's a plan.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that team with the most possession is dominating the game because they're playing to his plan.
That could be a plan.
Exactly. Now, with the game yesterday, My problem is a couple of things, a cacophony of irresponsible performances. The owners at PSG, maybe were thinking they should be able to run the team as a proper team, but they have some other motive that we don't know about financially.
Indeed.
And they really don't care
What happens?
what happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money, flowing through owning PSG, that they don't care what happens at PSG. Because the truth is, the Ligue 1 is a footnote every weekend. We think about what happened in the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A.
It's not the same.
Before we think about what's going on at the Ligue 1.
It's not the
And
same.
PSG still find a way to drop points there. So when you come onto the European scene and the kind of performance yesterday, like I said, irresponsible performances. If you knew, you talked about mental block. If you knew what it was at that stage against a very weak, against a weak, not too strong Madrid team, Donnarumma wouldn't have tried that nonsense he tried.
At all.
People said it was a foul. Maybe it was a foul. But if you knew what it was, you won't try that nonsense.
I don't even think it's a foul because the truth is,
I don't think it's a foul.
he showed too much to Benzema. And that's a number 9. He's not a defensive midfielder. He won't pity you. He wants to score.
God will bless you.
You don't show too much to a
God will bless
striker.
you.
He's a number 9.
Same
see,
thing
back in
happened
the
there
day-
Watford Arsenal game. That
see, back
Saka
in the
robbed
day-
cleverly of the ball.
Exactly. Back in the day when I was playing football,
That was like even before the Civil War, right?
how would I be like?
Ancestral footballer. Ancestral.
One of the maybe unwritten rule,
Yeah.
but basic knowledge. You don't play across your goal as a defender or goalkeeper. If you do it and it comes off, people go heal you.
I know. It's a bit passable.
But if you do it and it backfires, immediately nobody guys tell you. You go no say na me fuck up.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
It's
so
on
you
me.
can't pass across your goalpost. Especially at that level. And then you do that and you complain that it was a foul.
Yeah.
But they scored 2 other goals.
Yeah.
So what you do about that?
All right, guys. I'm a man that needs no introduction on this show. It remains the Inside Podcast. When it comes to talking sport, when it comes to talking football all around the world, you get the best information from this particular podcast. You can always join us online, on YouTube, on IG, anywhere online. You can always join. Even on Clubhouse, we're there for you to dish you the best information when it comes to sport all around the world. Stay tuned always.